Afternoon, everyone. We've got a fully fit squad to choose from. We've added Alvarado, which I think is going to be announced. Is it? Yeah.
Announced, yeah.
I've just announced it anyway. We've added Alvarado, so we're one player stronger. I think the feeling from the weekend's game is that it's a lot more positive than it has been in the previous month. And we've seen it as a little bit of a baby step forward in terms of sort of like the attitude and performance. But ultimately, it's only a small brick that's been laid in the foundation, and we need to keep building on that. We're under no illusions that Montreal, in the two previous games that we've played against them, have deservedly come out winners. And this is the third in sort of like the series that we've played against them. So we need to perform better. And we know it's going to be a really difficult game. So, and it's the start of a 3-game week, three really, really big games for us. Two at home and one away in Orlando, which is a big one for the supporters. So, the thing that I want to see the fight, I want to see the togetherness, and I want to see the attitude that we saw against Philadelphia. And if we get that, then I'll be really happy. So, baby steps forward. And what we've probably done in the past is we've made little steps forward and then not continued it the week after. Can we do it 2 games in the run now? Can we make 1 step forward, then 2 steps forward, and not 1 forward and 2 back? So that's the challenge now for the team. Can we consistently start playing with that attitude and that quality? I think we've talked a lot about fight, we've talked a lot about attitude, but I thought the quality of the performance was outstanding too.
We're going to start with questions now.
Obviously, Pizarro's still away, so there's no questions on Rodolfo this week.
Thank you, Phil. We'll start with Michelle.
Considering how you guys played last game and that you're trying to repeat that this week, do you stay with the same lineup? And what happens to Blaise Matuidi? Or do you see any changes, or are you going to go with the same guys, you think?
Well, we've got 3 games in the week, so the team that I pick on Saturday won't be probably the team that plays throughout the week because of the intensity of the games and the short space between games. So Blaise will get other opportunities, but it's going to be very difficult to change a winning team. I've got to say we've got to make sure that everyone comes through training tomorrow. Blaise has had a fantastic week training. I've got to say his attitude's been brilliant, and he's accepted responsibility for not being involved and bounced back in the only way that I knew he would, because he's a great person. So, but it will be difficult to change a winning team, that's for sure.
Steve?
With Gonzalo, I know you've talked about his fitness, but when he's on the ball, you can tell he's such a great player. Is there a thing where he potentially could drop deeper, you think? We've seen it with the English hats on. I mean, Rooney went deeper. Michael Owen was a midfielder. Is there an element where you could, because you can tell he's a great player on the ball, isn't it? It's just his.
I think when you get to the stage of your career like Gonzalo's at, there's got to be an adaptation to the way that you play. We've seen him play in the Champions League, top level European football, where he's always been that last man on the ball running through, and that ability to play, them slide passes through. Now he's probably 50% a creator, 50% goal scorer. Probably sees himself more as a creator than a goal scorer. At this moment in time, we need him as a goal scorer. So we're challenging him, and we're telling him the need to keep stretching the teams, keep running in behind. And it was, you think about the goal the other night that we scored. You think about it was at the point of the game where he would probably at his probably maximum in terms of sort of like capacity. And you say, you've got to keep him on because he can produce that one moment of pass. The pass into him, the left foot turn round the corner, was something that no other player in our team could probably play, apart from probably his brother. So you leave him on the pitch later in the game because the game gets stretched and the game gets sort of like wide open when you need his quality. I've got to say he's definitely 100% fitter than what he was probably two months ago. And but I agree with you. There will become an adaptation, but at the moment we need him to be we need to be number 9. We need him to score goals. We need more goals in the team, and at the moment he's the one that looks like more likely to score for us.
Franco?
Phil, I had a question about the game, but I just wanted to stick on that topic. With Gonzalo, you guys have 10 goals this season. He has 5 goals and 2 assists. Pretty good return, statistically speaking. This last game, we saw something else from him that maybe we haven't seen much of him from this season. And he made 2 runs backwards to help put pressure on Philadelphia Union players. One ended with him looking a little fatigued and maybe not making the run forward. It was in the 35th, 36th minute. Fans have taken to that, have pointed that out, because the play ends up with a cross from the left, and Gonzalo didn't make the run forward after spending, I guess, energy going back to press the ball. So I'm not going to ask you for specific numbers, but I know the players wear those bibs that measure how much they're putting out and how much they're running. Is Gonzalo at close to his peak physical level, or is there still work for him to do to get there right now?
I think he's probably running equally as much as any centre forward in the league. The data that we get, every player's data in the league, he's no different than Chicharito or Carlos Vela. So no, there's no differentiate in terms of his in terms of the data.
Inter Miami CF Academy kicks off on Monday. I know those players are excited. I know the coaches are excited to start their season. Do you have a message for those players?
Yeah, I can't wait to see them. I think when they took the break, the facility's been quite quiet. You think it gets about 3-4 o'clock. That's when all the academy coaches come in and they start setting up the pitches. And I remember in my first probably month at the club, when I was home alone and I had no one to go home to, I used to stay 5-6 o'clock, do my training, and then watch all the academy players when the lights were getting darker. And the place was buzzing through these little kids come in with their little Adidas bags, and I think that's always one of the highlights. So I'd say that if anyone watched the USL game on Saturday, I say that's a glimpse in the future. That's a glimpse of how good we can be. That game on Saturday, you saw probably 4 or 5 players that are going to be probably challenging next year for MLS positions. A team that's brilliantly coached, a team that's developing. When we're on about developing our players, it takes 5-6 years. And we're only into our second year, and we've already had academy players on the field for the MLS team. So I think we should be massively proud of that. And when these coaches are coming back, and when the players are now joining us to train on Monday, they've got to think about how close they are to becoming an Inter Miami footballer, because I think the ownership said it. They want to produce their own team. They want a team full of Inter Miami, Florida kids on the pitch. And they know they're going to get opportunities, and they know there's going to be a pathway through to the senior team. And I think they are the life and soul, along with our supporters of this football club.
Michelle?
I have 2. One is Ventura Alvarado. What do you think he brings? What role do you see him playing? And then the other one is Montreal. This is your 3rd time, like you said before. What specific challenges do they pose, and how will you guys be different than the last 2 times?
Ventura brings good experience. I think he's massively ambitious in terms of he wants to get back in the USA national team. So he's going to provide real competition for Ryan, for Leandro, for Nico, for Christian. We felt it was a position where we needed to strengthen because of the amount of games we've got coming up. We didn't want to be left short with a lack of experience at centre-back. We thought about Mabika, but we just thought maybe it's 3-4 months too soon for Mabika, even though he's progressing every single day outstandingly. So it was an opportunity to get him in, to see him training. He's behind everybody. He's had 2 months off, so he's behind everybody. We're having to work him really hard to get him up to the speed of the others. But with the 3 games next week, with the 22 games still to go, he's going to provide great experience, and he's almost Figal-like in terms of the way that he plays football. He's aggressive, and he's been a good addition to the squad so far. And in terms of Montreal, we need to probably impact ourselves more on them. They play a really good system. They play a system where their 2 centre forwards are a real handful, and Mihailovic, who I'd probably say is probably one of the best players we've played against in terms of the impact he's had against us. He's the one that's probably impressed me, maybe alongside the boy Atlanta Sosa. There's players sometimes on the opposition pitch that really jump out, and he's one of them that really, I think, is an impressive player. So they play a good system. They play a fluid system. They look like the team that, I think, being on the road can affect you 1 or 2 ways. You can become homesick, or you can galvanise a spirit, and it looks like they've got a really good spirit in their team. They've trained at our training ground. They've used our facilities for the last 3 months. So we've seen that every single day. So they've got a good, young, hungry team. They've got a young manager, and they play a really good system. We just need to make sure that we can, this time, have more impact on them.
We're going to go with Franco, and then the last one from the call.
Just have two quick ones for you. Just building off of that, what kind of match do you expect on Saturdays from both teams? Obviously, you guys this weekend showed a lot of good things from building out from back to front and stringing together some sequences, but Montreal has had success against you guys this year, pressing you guys. So what kind of matchup do you expect there tactically? And just the second one's on Ryan Chakra. I saw him leave practice at some point today after you guys were getting into
I mean, Ryan was always planning on leaving practice just after the warm-up anyway. It's 2 days. We've trained hard for 2 days. It's part of his programme, you know, at his stage of his career. So that's not a concern, really. In terms of Montreal, we need to be better in possession. You think about when we scored the goal against Philadelphia, the one thing that we didn't do, we didn't have the sequences of passes that we had before the goal. Before the goal, I think we had 16 to 18 passes of 8 or more, which means we controlled a lot of the game. After the goal, we only had one sequence of 8 passes or more, which meant that we retreated too much. And I think there's no criticism of the players there, because I think they were in real survival mode. Let's just get this victory, and they got within 3 or 4 points of that. And you know, there's no criticism of me of them for going into that kind of mentality. The one thing I would say is, and the next step is that when we go a goal ahead, is that can we still keep possession of the ball? Can we keep possession of the ball when they're throwing more men forward? And there are more spaces. There were spaces for us to counter-attack that we didn't just quite have the quality. And I thought that the nervousness in the last 10 minutes probably cost us the 3 points, because we were so anxious. You know, Gonzalo got it and he tried to force a ball when normally he would just keep possession of the ball, but that was because someone was trying so hard to win the game. And that's what happens when you've been on the sequence, is that, you know, sometimes tension and nerves takes over. We just need a little bit more composure, and you know, that's what we've been stressing to them the last few days.
Then last question, Gary from Sky Sports.
I'm going to put the video on. There you go. That'll shock you. Hi, Phil.
What are you doing on this call?
We're showing the game, believe it or not. We need our football over here.
Nice. Are you okay, Gary?
Well, I'm good, mate. I'm good. You look well.
Thank you.
Always,
Is that your question?
Always smiling. No, I've got 2 questions, if I may. First of all, have you seen enough, even when results haven't gone the way you would have wanted, with the setup, with the players, to think, you know, I can do this. We can turn this around. We can make this a success. Even at the worst moments, have you felt that way? And also, I just wanted to know whether you'll be keeping an eye at 4 a.m. in the morning. I think it is your time on the GB women in the Olympics.
In terms of your first question, I've no doubt that we can be a success. I think we know that it's gonna take time. We know that there's going to be bumps ahead in the road because of what's happened this season. But I think the things that we've put in place from the start of the season, not just myself, but the football club, in terms of the staff that we've employed, in terms of the infrastructure that is better than what it was last year, because this is obviously a new club, we're gonna sow the seeds in the future. I do feel as if we've turned a corner. I've got to say, I think there was that vacuum of negativity and bad results. I do feel as if the whole club has turned a corner in terms of sort of like thinking better, acting better, realizing that we've got a big road ahead, realizing that sometimes life doesn't always just deliver your success, and that we need to really work hard and fight and come together. So I'd say that the last month has taught everybody in the club that not everything is delivered on a plate for you, and that we're going to have to be successful. We're going to have to be successful together and keep improving, and that it is going to take time. And I feel as if there's signs that things have changed for the positive in the last month. So I've no doubt that this football club will be successful at all, because the stadium and the training facility and the ownership, in terms of what they want to do, where they want the club to go, means that they're massively ambitious. In terms of watching my former team, I've been glued to the telly. It's about the time I get up every single morning. I've been watching all the GB I've been watching all the women's football. I've got to say, I've watched, obviously, USA is a big coverage out here. They lost the first game. I've been intrigued about how they're going to do in the Olympics. I've been watching, obviously, my former players, the players that I absolutely loved managing. You know, I've got my former assistant managing Canada, so that was an interesting game the other day when they played against GB. So they look like they're playing great football. They look like they've got a really, really good spirit, even though there's no supporters there, even though they're probably locked away in a hotel, protecting themselves from obviously COVID because of the pandemic that's going on out there. But they look like they're enjoying themselves, like the experience that I had for the 3 years. So I know they've got a big game against Australia. But I've got to say, I really think they've got a great chance of coming home with a gold medal because of the quality that they've got in that team.
Top man, thank you. Good luck.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you, Phil.